It was proclaimed as the sexiest black dress ever created, not only for its unique design, but also because it was so unexpected, it shifted the fashion worldview. You can love it or you can hate it, but you can never forget it. May 11, 1994, Leicester Square, London. This is the premiere of Four Weddings and a Funeral starring Hugh Grant and Andie MacDowell, a low-budget British film made for under £3 million that later becomes the highest-grossing British film of its time and gets massive international recognition. At that moment, the red carpet was still dominated by film rather than fashion. There was no structured celebrity styling system like the one that would later define modern premieres. Image was secondary, cinema was the priority. Into this environment came Hugh Grant and Elizabeth Hurley. Hurley at the time was still largely unknown in mainstream media visibility, an emerging model and actress without established industry status. She and Grant had been together for roughly 7 years, having met on the set of the 1988 film Rowing with the Wind, and by 1994 they were widely described as inseparable, living together in a small flat as struggling actors long before either achieved major recognition. As the Four Weddings and a Funeral premiere approached, Hurley reportedly had difficulty securing a designer dress at all. According to Hugh Grant in later interviews, multiple fashion houses declined requests to dress her, not because of styling preferences, but simply because she was not known enough at the time to justify a loan. So at the very last moment, something unusual happens. Gianni Versace, whom Hurley had met through mutual friend Elton John, agrees to lend her a dress fresh from his Milan runway collection, with no fittings, no selection process, and no styling system around it. Hurley herself later explained the reality of that moment very directly. She said she urgently needed a dress for Hugh's premiere and had no idea about fashion at the time, and that she went to a PR agency office where they literally pulled a dress out of a white plastic bag, which she then took home, did her own hair and makeup, and prepared in a very unglamorous setting, even describing fighting Hugh for a mirror that wasn't even full length in their small one-bedroom flat, contrasting sharply with how celebrity styling works today. The dress itself comes from the Spring-Summer 1994 Versace collection, a collection that originally debuted at Milan Fashion Week, and its runway context is important because it was not designed in isolation, but as part of a progressive shift within the show. The collection began with more structured, tailored, daytime suits where even skirts were closed with single pins, but as the runway progressed, the use of pins became more exaggerated, larger, and more numerous, evolving into slashes and cutouts where garments appeared to be held together almost entirely by oversized safety pins. This direction echoed elements of Versace's earlier boundary-pushing Fall-Winter 1992 bondage collection, sometimes referred to as Miss S and M, where fetish-inspired aesthetics were translated into high fashion, although the Spring-Summer 1994 collection pushed this language further into overt provocation. Gianni Versace's design intention for this collection was rooted in visible tension between construction and exposure, and he explicitly drew inspiration from both punk subculture, hence the safety pin symbolism, and elements of the Indian sari, reflected in the draped wrap-like silhouette logic. The result was a deliberate engineering of slashed aesthetics where the garments appeared fragile but were structurally controlled through internal construction methods. When Hurley arrives at the premiere wearing this exact dress, she is still not a known actress in her own right, but what happens next is immediate and irreversible in terms of media attention. Hugh Grant arrives alongside her, but the visual focus shifts almost instantly away from him and toward Hurley. Despite the film's success trajectory, her appearance becomes the dominant visual event of the night. Hurley herself later described the aftermath as life-changing, acknowledging that the dress opened doors she did not previously have access to, including within a year becoming the face of Estée Lauder, a role that later evolved into long-term global ambassador work, particularly connected to the brand's breast cancer campaign, and also marking the beginning of her long-standing relationship with the Versace fashion house. Nevertheless, when the press explodes after the premiere, Versace himself states that he knew Elizabeth would look simply bellissima, perfecto in that dress. He adds that Liz has this intelligent face attached to that very naughty body, and that seeing a woman like her in the gown was enough to guarantee that everyone would go pazzo. Here is a small history of this dress. Elizabeth Hurley is not only credited with becoming globally recognized overnight, but also with helping turn the Versace name into a household identity, pushing its Medusa head logo into mass cultural awareness. And the brand itself begins to represent something more complex, what has been described as a new controversial form of feminism, one that doesn't reject the male gaze, but instead operates within it, using attraction and control as a form of power. And then the replication begins. In 1995, comedian Dawn French wears a copy of the dress during the comic relief broadcast, turning it into parody and proving that the image has already entered public consciousness. And it doesn't stop there, it evolves. In 2012, Lady Gaga wears the dress again to meet Donatella Versace in Milan, directly referencing the original moment. Years later, Anne Hathaway channels the same idea at the 2023 Met Gala, wearing a white safety pin dress that becomes one of the most talked about looks of the night, proving that the visual language still works in a completely different era. This is the final confirmation. Because in fashion, nothing proves icon status more than repetition. And this dress never stopped repeating. Iconic isn't about being seen, it's about being remembered. And this dress was never just remembered. It was copied, recreated, reinterpreted for decades, over and over and over again. And that only happens for one reason. Not because something is beautiful, not because something is shocking, but because it changed the rules. And after that night in 1994, the red carpet was never about the film again. I uncover what makes fashion as a cultural movement iconic. If you love this video, make sure to subscribe and see you in the next one.